HVAC system. Matt gave a big thank you to Colin and Paul Vosberg and Warren and Justin Dibble. Paul and Colin took out the old furnace. Matt pointed out it was a big job and saved the congregation $1,000 off the original bill. And Warren donated the electrical work that he and Justin did to install the new HVAC system. We hope to replace the water heater this year. $1,000 has been designated in the budget to the maintenance fund for a water heater. Angie and Shannon Forrest mowed the church grounds last year. Several members gave personal donations to Angie and Shannon for this service. Angie and Shannon took out money for the new blades and donated the rest back to the church. They have volunteered to mow the church grounds again for 2020. We are currently paying 27% of shared expenses with St. Olaf and English churches. If we can keep doing what we are doing, our Savior's budget looks good. We have welcomed new members Carol Lee Stutz, Jaden and Delaney Bowerboom, and Melissa Rung. Motion to accept the treasurer's report by Jim Block, seconded by Don Vosberg. Motion carried. Old business, furnace project went well. New pastoral contract. All of our joint meetings have been very positive. Thanks to Pastor Chuck and all the board members who have helped the transition go smoothly. If anyone has any questions or concerns about our joint pairing and sharing, please call Pastor Chuck or one of the board members. Gordy Vosberg has made a template for the new counter in the coffee room. He would like everyone to look at the counter and let him know any comments and suggestions. New business. Summer services, St. Olaf and English alternated every other Sunday throughout the summer last year. Proposed 8 a.m. worship service at Our Savior's and 9:30 a.m. at either St. Olaf or English. Our Savior's has found that having worship services every Sunday has been good for our congregation. Matt will look into hot water heaters and service plans. Harlan Campbell asked about congregation approval in case the water heater replacement expenses exceed $2,000. Motion to approve moving ahead with the water heater replacement by Gail Roop and seconded by Bob Olson. Motion carried. Slate of officers. Matt directed the congregation to look over page 12 of the annual report. Slate of officers. A small correction was made that Julie McClellan will be the new trustee for a 3-year term. Matt gave a big thank you to Colin and Paul Vosberg and Warren and Justin. Paul and Colin took out the old furnace. Matt pointed. Okay. Yeah. All right. It was clarified that Linda Vosberg had filled in to finish out Dan McClellan's remaining term as deacon. Linda volunteered to serve another 3-year term as deacon. Partners in ministry was not listed, but Jim and Darlene Block are our representatives for this. 2020 budget, Harlan Campbell moved, we cast a unanimous ballot to accept the slate of officers as presented with the correction that Julie McClellan is the new trustee for a 3-year term. And we include Linda Vosberg as deacon for a 3-year term. Denise Eichner seconded and motion carried. Budget was looked over and David McClellan moved to accept the budget and Luther Tustinger seconded. Motion carried. Harlan thanked the council and especially Matt Jacobs and Paul Vosberg for working through a difficult year as a council with all the changes. All present agreed there is a new optimism for our whole congregation. Gordy Vosberg moved to adjourn. Jim Black seconded. We closed our 2020 annual meeting with Pastor Chuck leading us in the table prayer before we moved to our potluck dinner. Respectfully submitted. Okay,
thank you, Ruth Ann. Can we get a motion to accept the secretary's report? Gordy so moves. Can I get a second? Denise seconds. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Pastor, would you like to do your report at this moment, or would you want me to continue with?
I can just do a short report.
Okay.
Well, it's been an interesting year. We've tried a lot of new things. As you can see with the problems I'm having this morning, electronics don't always work. I guess I didn't even go live for our Facebook meeting. I'm not sure what happened there, or for service. So But I think it's worked out pretty well between the three churches. St. Olaf and English have been pleased with how this has been working. And we're hoping by summer we can start worshiping more in person. If not, we may be worshiping outside as soon as it gets warm. Because it looks like the vaccinations are going a little bit slower than we expected, so we will see. Again, if you have any questions or need anything, Pastor Stephanie and I are always open. Our emails are out there, so feel free to contact us, phone us. Suppose you could send a telegram, but either way. But again, thank you for all you've done this past year. It's been a really good year, especially being first year for me. So. Any questions? Okay. Typically at this time, we would do the elections for the new slate of officers. Although at our December meeting, we voted to continue with the 2020 slate, at least until we can have a meeting with everybody present in person. Hopefully that's in April or May. So we had voted on that. We had a couple other discussions that eventually here we're thinking about reducing the size of the council. And we're looking at going from 3 deacons to 2, and from 3 trustees to 2 trustees. The problem that would pose would be deacons help with communion, but we had several people that would be willing to volunteer to help with communion. And as far as on a trustee role, county money after church, that anybody could be appointed, and certainly anybody on the council. That would ultimately be a change in the Constitution we would have to do, which just doesn't happen overnight. But I think for the time being, we are going to continue with the slate officers, and when we get to this next meeting in April or May, we can certainly appoint new officers, and it might have to be at that time to where the people that were going off, would virtually just say resign, and that would stay within the parameters of the Constitution of that. So, yeah. So at this time, can I get a motion to approve to continue the 2020 slate of officers into 2021 for the time being? Paul makes the motion, Julie seconds it. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. They can comment on Facebook, yes or no in the comments.
Okay.
And if you're in the parking lot and you want to vote yes, you can honk your horn.
If you're in the parking lot, you want to vote yes, please honk your horn.
Honk your horn.
All right.
I'm okay.
I guess that moves on to my report. Obviously 2020 has been upside down to say the least, but we made it through. I got to give a big credit to the pastors to being creative how you did services, and I think our summer services outside went really well. Thank God for beautiful weather. We did not have a single rain delay. I think one time, about 5 minutes after it started to rain, but it kept it together. I was worried that we were going to have a big fallback on just everybody participating and giving, and I'm certainly happy to report. And when you get to the budget here, that we came out about $15,000 ahead this year. And you look at it, we did get $4,900 in the payroll protection program, which is a grant that is forgiven. And also our utility costs were virtually cut in half with electricity and gas because we've been very efficient at keeping the church, cooled down and not using a lot of that. So, but I just certainly thank you, everybody, for helping out and certainly the giving that we came out that far ahead and in such a interesting year to say. So I guess we could move on to our 2021 budget. And I believe if you go to the page 17, is that correct? Is where we got that outline there. Going through, as far as it was difficult to compare 2020 numbers to what we want to have in 2022 because of a lot of the reductions in expenses. But the trustees did an excellent job of going through and getting everything pretty well detailed. Obviously, there's slight increases in the payroll expense, pastor salaries, secretary's expense, portico across the board. Not much, but a slight increase, and that's just the inflation that we're going to have to work with every year. So I guess if everybody has a minute to kind of look things over. You noticed our gas and electric were down considerably this year. Obviously, with not having much going on in the church has a lot to do with it, but I think installing the new furnaces, air conditioners, even on a normal year, our costs are going to be substantially down with that. So we did allow, going back to what we've had in the past, of gas of $5,800 and $3,200 on electric. The water and sewer, we just rounded that up at $1,000. So kind of looking through it, that we are proposing just a little over $1,000 income for this next year. Obviously, we hope we can meet that or certainly exceed that with that. But I believe that everything we got budgeted is definitely realistic, and there might be a few things that are lower and higher, but in the long run, I think we're gonna have to go with it. So, any questions at all pertaining our 2021 budget? At this time, could I get a motion to accept the 2021 budget? Linda moves. Second. Don seconds. All in favor, say aye. And we'll give it a 20-second delay.
You want to vote on Facebook, yeah.
If you want to vote on Facebook, so I'll just take a slight moment of delay here. And anybody opposed? Motion carried for our 2021 budget. I don't have too many other things right now. I guess it's kind of difficult here with just dealing with the council and broadcasting this in a lot of different ways. I think at our secondary meeting, we can get a few more things accomplished and go with that. some old business that we certainly talked about last year at the annual meeting was a new water heater, and I believe Colin looked into that. And we had decided, I believe, kind of when the pandemic hit, just a lot of unknowns. Our water heaters are working, that, you know, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we just decided to forego that for the time being, but that's something that might be some new business that we need to bring up this year, and take a look at some of that stuff. I know that the boiler in the addition coffee room is, it still works, but that's another thing we might need to look at upgrading, or at least take a consideration of it. So as far as new business, you know, we got a lot of unknowns going forward here. I believe, and Pastor Chuck, you could probably help me out, as far as February service, are we looking at possibly getting back in
Yep,
the works?
we'll look at doing what we did in October. Which is we'll have Facebook Live at 10:30. We'll have, I think it was 9 o'clock here, in person or in the parking lot. And again, masks will be required.
Certainly. Well, we're gonna have to take it, you know, day by day, month by month here, but I think we're heading in the right direction. It's looking like the cases that have been down, and some people are getting the vaccine. So we'll have to see what goes on, and certainly look forward to getting everybody here in church. And it's such a much better way to communicate with each other in person, like we have done in the past. So is there any other questions, concerns, comments, anything that we need to discuss at this moment? If not, I believe I will adjourn the meeting. Is there anything else, Pastor, that you would need to do? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Colin? Second? Paul? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.